Welcome back, boxing fans. Another great show with Sean on boxing. So, we're going to be talking about a lot of hot topics that are currently going on, as well as talking about the fights this weekend. So, stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back, everyone. So, just recently, Turki Al-Sheikh signed a deal with what's his face from the UFC. And obviously, this is going to be a promotional company called TKO Boxing. And after this initial sort of release of information, information came out about the pay scale. And a lot of people have been real critical and real in their feelings, even though I don't understand why boxing fans are worried about this kind of information. It doesn't fucking matter to you. The onus is on the boxers to negotiate a better contract for themselves. That's why they have managers and people on their teams. So, the people, of course, that are pushing this are people who've shown their cards already. People like, I won't even go into names, but really anti-Turki Al-Sheikh guys. A lot of guys that are PBC nut huggers for the most part, and other ones that are pseudo-American boxing fans. Yet American boxing has been disintegrating for years. And if you don't fucking recognize that, you're probably the problem, because reality fucking escapes you, right? What Turki Al-Sheikh has brought to boxing is hope. People tried to compare his ascension into boxing compared to Al Haymon. The difference is Al Haymon came right off the bat not giving us fights we wanted, not working with other promoters. Turki Al-Sheikh did the complete opposite, literally giving us fights that we know would never have been made except for his help and his deep wallet. And in the process, literally worked with every single promoter in boxing. So based on that alone, it's a little fucking stupid to try to compare how people have really been excited about what Turki's brought to boxing compared to what Al Haymon has brought. You can compare, obviously, this side venture now, TKO Boxing, with what Al Haymon did, because on the outside looking in, they both look similar. The difference is, obviously, Al Haymon stole all his fighters from Golden Boy to create PBC, hoping with the big $500 million that he had to create a league. But that was never able to be done, whether that was just not planning properly or, whatever the circumstances may have been. Unfortunately, they tried to do a lot of in-house fights, but there was no rhyme or reason to it, right? A lot of times it wasn't even for legitimate titles. A lot of times it was for baby belts and not the real titles. And real boxing fans knew who the real champions were. And they knew what the PBC was trying to sell them was a cheap knockoff. It was like buying a Rolex from China. It might look good, but we know really it's fucking crap. And that's basically what the PBC was trying to peddle to you. One-sided fights to try to highlight fighters that were part of the PBC, overpaying these fighters, not even letting them fight regularly to really build up a fan base as much as they could have if they were actually fighting more regularly, right? With this TKO and the way that's going to be unfolding, we have to wait and see. But anyone with common sense realizes that boxing, Ring Magazine fights, and TKO aren't necessarily all together. That potentially these are all different projects that Turki Al-Sheikh is participating in, right? Working with all these major promoters to do, Saudi Arabian big fights, obviously doing Ring Magazine fights, which we know we're going to be getting a lot of them in the States as well, but they're not going to be to the same extent as the fights that maybe we're getting in Saudi Arabia. And then we know that TKO is going to be more like a pro box scenario, right? At least initially. We have to see how it unfolds, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, some people are just so caught up in their emotions, and some people are just fucking born haters that just do nothing else but jump on the internet consistently just to hate on a motherfucker. Stringer from above, welcome. So today I just wanted to quickly go over the top fighters in boxing, Ring Magazine's top fighters, and use that as an indication of which fighters literally could be on TKO boxing, which literally fit in to this financial system. Because there's a lot of fighters now that don't get paid as well as what we saw this whole contract breakdown that Turki Al-Sheikh showed us as far as TKO boxing and the contracts sort of structure that they had in place, right? And you will notice there's very few boxers in the world who wouldn't literally fit into that scale. Obviously, you have the elite fighters who obviously are worth far more money. And this is always going to be the situation. But unfortunately, some people are just so negative, such hating pricks, that they just try to find anything negative to do to shit on boxing. And primarily, this is Americans, right? I don't know what it is with Americans, why they just need to be so fucking negative. But unfortunately, that tends to be what's going on. And really, that's what's hurt the American boxing scene, this kind of negativity. You look at Devin Haney's father today, who basically said that, his son is being racially abused because, what he's doing, he should be fucking idolized and worshipped based on it. Whereas Mexican fighters, they don't need to win. They just need to come out and perform at a high level, and they get praised and supported. Yeah, by Mexican fucking boxing fans. Why would these Mexican boxing fans support fucking Devin Haney? The people that are letting down Devin Haney are Black American fans, not Mexican fans. Devin Haney and his father never felt that the biggest fan base they were going to get was the Mexican fan base. That's why they kowtowed to the fucking LDBC, why Devin Haney started trying to fucking be all street, right, with gold teeth and everything else, right, trying to fit in with, the Black American culture. That's the fan base you're trying to gravitate to. If people aren't supporting you in America, it's that fan base that's not supporting you, because you never expected the Mexican fan base to be the biggest pushers of Devin Haney. Stylistically, he's fucking nothing like a Mexican boxer that fans support. So why would Mexican fans support him? Right? But this is the kind of delusion we see consistently from some of these people, right? Everything is fucking negative. Everything is racial. And it was like, oh, come on, man. Always a fucking excuse. The problem is you, Bill. You're the problem, because you're such a fucking helicopter fucking parent for your grown-ass son who's got a kid of his own, that you come off making him look weak and like a pussy. You're doing it. So congratulations. Thanks to you being a helicopter parent, you're making your 25-year-old son look fucking soft as hell. But keep it up. Stringer says the PBC has put on some decent cards, but overall, I'll remember them as a disappointing company. Years and years of keeping fighters on the shelf. Yeah, I mean, let's give an indication of something that's coming up soon. I just saw this today. I know that there's been speculation for a long time that Charlo was going to potentially fight Caleb Plant. Great built-in storyline, right? So people were looking forward to potentially that matchup. But from what we hear is that they're going to do a double header. So Caleb Plant is going to be the headline fighter. Charlo's going to fight on the undercard, right? And they're probably going to make this pay-per-view, and they're going to be fighting some low-level opposition. This is what the PBC does. They use name recognition in fucking one-sided fights on $80 pay-per-views, and then wonder why boxing fans aren't excited about the product they're giving them, as opposed to giving us a fight that would be more marketable and more worth the $85 with a good undercard on it, Charlo versus Plant. But you know what? Charlo's been out of boxing for too long. Fuck him. Who cares? That's on him, right? He's the one that's hurt his career. But boxing fans now need to watch him fight some bum-ass opponent hoping till he looks good so that we can potentially pay not just this pay-per-view, but then potentially a pay-per-view down the road. Come on. This is what the PBC's done. They shot themselves in the foot and they expect people to fucking be happy about it. They're not. People aren't happy about it. Sorry. But let's just jump to this for a second. Maybe I'll try ESPN, because for some reason when I did Ring Magazine, I need to sign in and go through all this garbage. And it was just like, fuck, man. How much time do you think I got on my hands? Not enough time for that shit. So I will just use this as an indication. Is this just pound for pound or boxing generally? Oh, it's just pound for pound. The pound for pound list. And is it the new one or the old one? It's an old one because Tank Davis is still on it, or even though it's top rank. This one? Okay, I think this. Yes, here we go. Okay, so just let me pass this over so we can see this shit. Stop screen, present screen. What's up, Sad? Stringer says, I would actually love to see Plant versus Charlo or Boo Boo. Exactly. That's what people would like, to see these fighters that are obviously highly skilled fighters fight an equally level fighter in a dangerous 50-50 matchup. Especially if you want to charge us $80 for a pay-per-view, then the least you should do, drop the link for what, Sad? For you to jump on? Can I actually introduce my topics before I let people jump on? So let's share the screen. So here we go. So we're just going to run through the general rankings just to get an indication of which fighters in these rankings actually are above. I'm not going to talk about every fighter that could be on TKO. I'm going to talk about the fighters that definitely would not be on TKO. So we'll go heavyweight and we'll move down. So obviously Usyk, no. Fury, no. Dubois, no. Parker at this point, no. Kabial, probably not right now. Joshua, no. Zhang, no. Bakoli, no. Miller, probably could be. Andy Ruiz, probably could be. Cruiserweight. Jay Opataya, no. Zerto, no. Breedis is retired. But this guy, who's a champion, Mikaledjian, he could be. Smith, he could be. Masternak, could be. Selisek, could be. Richard Rappaport, could be. Rosinski, could be. Peralta, could be. The heavyweight division, because of Saudi Arabia and the fights they made, a lot of the top level dudes are already well past that pay scale. But you got all the lower level dudes that aren't even close to that level right now. And then the divisions under heavyweight. We know heavyweight's always been overpaid compared to other divisions, right? Light heavyweight, Bivol, no. Beterbiev, no. Benavidez, no. Morrell easily could be on. Smith, no. Yard, probably not. Buatsi, based on his last performance, if he loses another fight, he would totally be on TKO. Bostic, TKO. Connor Wallace, TKO. Willie Hutchinson, TKO. Alvarez, no. Mimbili, TKO. Plant should be on TKO. Pacheco, still at TKO. Hasn't built up himself to a level where he's above and beyond that. Berlanga, fuck, he should be lower than TKO. Pro box. Beck, TKO. Ulysses Iglesias, TKO. William Skull, after he loses to Canelo, TKO. Bruno Sarace, TKO. Munguia, above TKO, right? So already you see the writing on the wall. I mean, probably less than 20% of boxers ranked in the top 15 of divisions right now make more than what is being proposed from TKO, right? Very small percentage of professional fighters. Opataya is fighting another Can. Why? Well, because he's trying to get a unification fight. And obviously Zerto isn't interested right now. And then obviously the other fighter, Radzitsky, is going to fight 40-year-old fucking Swedish fighter. So maybe he'll get the winner of that. And then we got to wait for Zerto. You can't make other fighters fight you, right? That's the problem. We know Jay Opataya wants Zerto, But unfortunately, Zerto ain't that fucking excited about fighting him. So you got to stay busy. You got to get paid. Janibek, TKO. Carlos Adames, maybe not. Arizona Lara, TKO. Eubank, no. Shiraz, in the future, probably not. Cameron Davis, TKO. This guy, I don't know how to say his name, TKO. This guy who I don't know how to say his name, TKO. These two guys, TKO. Terrence Crawford, no. Fenduro, one more loss, totally TKO. Virgil Ortiz, not at this point. Murtazaliev, TKO. Madrimov, TKO. Baholchuk, TKO. Tim Tszyu, no. Ramos, TKO. Conwell, TKO. Soro, TKO. Right? You can see the majority of fighters that I talk about, these guys are not above making $750,000 for a title defense. These guys are not $1 million fighters, pay-per-view stars. John Ennis, no. Stanionis, if he loses, totally TKO. Brian Norman, he could easily be TKO. He's for ESPN, so he's not making much more money than that already, if he's even making that much money. Mario Barros, he'll be finished. Soon he'll be TKO. Ben, if he loses to Eubank, TKO. Kisarov, TKO. Sasaki, TKO. Ramos, TKO. Santillan, TKO. Rocha, TKO. Lopez, no. Haney, no. Barboza, if he loses, TKO. Puello, TKO. Hitchens, fucking TKO. Russell, probably TKO. Catrell, Pero, Matias, Martin, all TKO fighters. None of these fighters are consistently making more than $750,000 a fight. Tank Davis, no. Loma, no. Shakur, no. Keyshawn Davis, no. Zepeda, Lamont Roach, he was pro box, so he's totally fucking TKO. Cruz, TKO. Martin, TKO. Muratila right now, he's ESPN top rank, basically TKO. Zaur Abdurav, TKO. Navarrete, no. Karache, yes. Foster, yes. Kansakau, yes. Roach, yes. Ford, yes. Cordina, yes. Nunez, yes. Cortez, yes. Maxamo, yes. The majority of fighters we're going to find at all these divisions under 147 pounds are literally all fighters who could fight on TKO and would be getting paid more money consistently, getting fucking more promotion and more opportunities fighting under Turki Al Sheikh's TKO promotions, right? That's just the truth. There's a very small amount of fighters who can generate more than $750,000 per fight. That's not the majority of fighters. It's the vast minority, all right? As we just saw right now, when we're coming down in these weight divisions, we're finding very few fighters that can make more than $3 million, make more than $1 million a fight. Espinoza, probably TKO. Ball, no. Obviously, UK market, he can make more. Leo, fucking TKO. Fulton, TKO. Lopez, TKO. Vargas, Figueroa, Carrington, Kameda, Robsy Ramirez, all TKO. Inui, no. Tapales, MJ, Goodman, Neary, Rosmario, Pierce, Romero, Cardenas, Masood, all TKO. Nakatani, no. Nishida, Takai, Tatsumi, Inui, maybe not. Roman Gonzalez, he's been fighting to get over that 750 almost his whole fucking career. Emmanuel Rodriguez, yes. Ishida, Tenshin Nakakuma, Higa, all these guys, the majority of them, would make more money fighting on TKO promotions than they make fighting fucking right now. The majority of them wish somebody would pay them $750,000 to defend a title. $750,000 is the most they can make. In the contract right now, from what we know, that's for a title defense, right? We don't know if there's going to be more for potential unification fights, more for obviously potential big super fights. But obviously what happens is when fighters move to a certain level, the same as the UFC, they eventually become too big for the UFC. And then they move outside the UFC, and then they start doing co-promotion events with the UFC. Inevitably, that's what's going to happen with boxers that are able to get to that level. But yet, The only reason most of those boxers get to that level is because of the promotion. If they didn't have great promotion behind them, these guys wouldn't be fucking superstars getting paid so much money and be so well known, right? And that's what a lot of these people just don't understand. What these promotional give people is a very structured situation where boxers know exactly what they're going to get paid for exactly what they're doing. For 90% of fighters, this is a fucking great deal. For the other 10%, they're not going to sign with TKO. They're going to be doing outside promotional events with other promotional companies, right? That's what Francis just did, and it worked out great with Fury and AJ Payday. Yeah, because inevitably, when you get to a point where people really want to see you break out of your promotional contract to cross over, this is where, thanks to promotion, thanks to you not being oversaturated to the market, where now you can really generate money. Remember the old WWE, right? And then there was the opposite wrestling company. I can't remember what the name was, but you had those two companies. Obviously, the WWE was very popular, but a lot of great fighters were on the other promotional company, and we never got to see them, but we knew who they were. And we were just waiting for the day they could cross over and join the WWE, WCW. Thank you. Yeah. And we were waiting for the day these guys would cross over so that we could see great matchups, right? And so it helped build shit up. It helped fans become excited about the possibility of these different fighters from different promotional companies meeting. But this is a very small group of fighters. I know somebody will say, oh, at least you get the fights, at least you get the fights. You know, the irony with these kind of people making that statement is we haven't been getting the fights. We've been waiting fucking years to get fights. Instead of getting Crawford and Spence years ago, where it would have been easy to do a rematch, we ended up getting fucking Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia, right? We could have had Mikey Garcia versus fucking Vasily Lomachenko, which might have been the biggest lightweight unification fight in modern lightweight history since fucking who? Duran and who? That's not even modern. I don't even know who. Pernell Whitaker and who? Chavez, you know, it probably would have been something at that level. But unfortunately, we had to wait for such an extended period of time to get a fight that we just lost interest in. And really the reason people love this shit is because what they can do is they can just continue to push the drama on their YouTube channels so they can continue to get clickbait money from the YouTube. And that's why they love this shit. American YouTubers love the drama more than actually making the fights. We can see that based on the fights Turki Al-Sheikh has made. And these guys don't talk about it because in truth, they don't want to talk about boxing. It's like I made fun of True School because he is the American channel for Japanese boxing. But if you pay attention to American boxing fans, you know the majority of them don't give a fuck about Japanese boxing. They don't care about fucking Inoue. They definitely don't care about any other fighter. The majority of them don't even know who Ken Shiro is, definitely don't think he belongs on a pound for pound list, right? So no matter how many videos you make talking about Japanese boxing, unfortunately, you got a fan base that just isn't interested. They're not interested in boxers from the UK. They're not fucking interested in Mexican boxers, really, a little more so because they're almost next door. They're not really interested in Asian boxers unless they cross over and come to the States. And then chances are they're just going to shit on them, downplay them, and not give them credit as well. It's a soap opera, good for constant clickbait vids. That's exactly it. These channels love the clickbait. So they make the same video every fucking day. Day after day after day. Go look at John Boxing's content as a perfect example. But unfortunately, he ain't getting rich making clickbait content. But there you go. So what I'm trying to show you is this defined contract structure from TKO Boxing is not bad. 90% of boxers in the sport would benefit from joining TKO, being able to fight 3 times a year, getting paid really good contracts, And who knows what other benefits potentially could operate. Some people criticize Turkey because there was no retirement package and health package and these kind of, union type of situations for boxers. Well, this is a scenario where these things potentially could happen for these fighters. Joining something like that, where you're paying your dues into something where you could get that kind of stuff, right? That's why these fighters haven't got these kind of benefits, because individual promoters don't need to do that, right? They don't need that because they have a surplus of fighters that they can go to. If they don't like you, they cut you. They can fill that spot fucking very easily. But let's move to some other topics of conversation around this boxing world. Let me just stop the screen. So, that's another thing that just makes me laugh. I also saw a video today of True School Sports, who, he wants to sort of control the whole Japanese market and be the American channel that, talks about Japanese boxing. Well, for Japanese boxing to really be popular in America, you're going to need more than one fucking channel talking about it. I remember a guy I really liked only talked about heavyweight boxing, but inevitably you're not going to have enough content. It's not going to be interesting enough. Hardcore boxing fans don't only want to talk about one region or one weight class, right? You want to talk about the sport as a whole, right? I know he does. I'm just saying as an example. If you want to label yourself something, you're kind of limiting yourself, right? That's the problem with these channels like the LDBC, because we know what their content is, and it's obviously not boxing, and it's obviously limited, right? But he was upset because now Turkey just reached out for one of maybe Japan's best amateur fighter in the history of Japanese amateur boxing, in Rieto Tsutsumi, whose brother is obviously a very high-level 130-pound fighter, Hiato Tsutsumi. And I made a short video talking about him making his professional debut in May. If these Japanese fighters sign with Turki Al-Sheikh, instead of being in a closed Japanese market, they're actually going to get what many Americans are complaining about. They're going to be getting exposure on a global market, which is going to let people be much more aware of who they are from a much earlier perspective of their career, where they can build themselves up into bigger superstars down the road. We also know that a lot of these Asian fighters, specifically Japanese, are small weight division fighters, which don't get a lot of opportunity, right? They can only really fight in Asia. Everybody that's small basically goes to Japan, because that really is the one market with the money behind it that can take care of that small weight division of fighting, because Americans just aren't really too interested in it, right? So now you get Turki Al-Sheikh putting money into that. You're going to get even more opportunity to promote and build up these fighters moving forward. It makes me think, and I know True School is young, so maybe he doesn't remember all this, but it reminds me of when guys like Don King, right? They gave these smaller fighters opportunities to build their name recognition. Guys like Salvador Sanchez fighting on undercards of elite American-based fighters. Guys like Ricardo El Finito Lopez fighting on undercards as well of Mike Tyson and fighters of that nature, giving them a platform to build their names, where these guys have went on to become Hall of Famers and very well respected and well recognized. Why? Because they got global fucking opportunities to showcase themselves. They may not have had the same kind of following if they didn't have the opportunity to fight in the US on big cards with major fucking global promoters, right? Salvador Sanchez may have only been fighting in Mexico. He may not have got an opportunity to cross over to the American market. El Finito, even smaller, right? Chances are he was never really going to become a big name in America, right? Obviously, Michael Carbajal was an American and he was an Olympian, so he was a little different. It's no surprise that he did get support, but even as an American, a lot of these small weight classes still don't get much push from the American promoters. So all in all, you support the league. I don't have any negative or any positive things to say about it, because at this point, it's just speculation. There's no point me getting my fucking panties in a bunch based on speculation. People trying to hate on it because the pay scale is too low. No, the pay scale is fucking way more money than the majority of boxers in the sport get. Well, Canelo and Devin Haney and Tank Davis, they wouldn't fight for that amount of money. Yeah. And no one fucking expects them to. That's why they're not going to be on TKO boxing, right? But it's just this mentality. We're trying to find a way to shit on something new. Don King cards used to be pretty stacked, super stacked. And those guys weren't getting paid huge money, but they had an opportunity to showcase themselves to a way bigger market, right? And so that in itself was fantastic. For these Japanese fighters to get bigger markets, it's great. Like when I heard that Inoue was going to fight in the States this year and also fight in Saudi Arabia this year, as well as Japan, as a boxing fan, I thought, this is fucking great. Obviously, Inoue doesn't need to fight in the States and definitely does not need to fight in Saudi Arabia. He's a superstar who gets paid millions of dollars in Japan. He's got a fucking huge fan base built in. He doesn't even need to fucking cross over to English-speaking market. He doesn't need to because he's so popular. He's making so much money in those lower divisions. Nobody fucking is even coming close to the amount of money he's making. So if they want to fight him, they will all go to Japan to fight him because that is their career high payday. So it's not as if he can't fight everybody he wants to fight. He can, because they'll all fucking get on a plane and fly to Japan. But it's great that he is going to fight in the States because now Americans can actually go watch his fight in Vegas. That's fantastic. People who never got to see Inoue when he was here earlier get to see him. And Inoue's fought out of Japan far more than the majority of Americans will ever fight outside of the States, right? So let's just be fucking 100% fair and honest. Then, of course, him going to Saudi Arabia, I think that's excellent as well. I would have preferred, really, if he would have fought Nick Ball in the UK, right? And did a card with Saudi Arabia, but based in the UK. I think that would have been better. Obviously, he fought in the UK before. Going back right now for a UK opponent like Nick Ball would be a huge fight. Obviously, it'd be fantastic. And he continues to build his global market. Global market. Victor says, do you agree with Floyd having Bud pound for pound number one? Well, I'm not surprised Floyd Mayweather has Bud Crawford number one, because we know, like every other fucking ethnic group in the world, people support their own. So the reason Floyd is putting Bud Crawford pound for pound number one is because Bud Crawford is Black American, right? So he feels obligated and feels like he needs to support his countrymen. And that's good. Floyd should support Bud Crawford. Floyd should get behind a guy literally he spent a long time trying to undermine. So it's good that he's actually putting something positive towards Bud Crawford after a lot of that fucking ducking and dodging that PBC has done for years. But in truth, it doesn't fucking matter what Floyd Mayweather says. That's his opinion. If you think Bud Crawford is pound for pound number one, I don't disagree with you. If you think Usyk is pound for pound number one, I don't disagree with you. If you think Bivol is pound for pound number one, I don't disagree with you. If you think Inoue is pound for pound for number one, I also don't disagree with you. Those four fighters are fucking at the top of the game right now. And obviously people, for whatever reason they have, are going to have different people in that number one position. There is no fucking right for one individual to be in that position over somebody else. If we want to talk about overall career, Bud Crawford's career is not better than Canelo Alvarez. If you want to talk about what he's doing now in boxing, he's not active. He's not doing more than Bivol or fucking Inoue or Usyk. If you want to talk about taking on real challenges, sure, him moving up to take on Canelo, huge challenge. But not as much as fucking Usyk taking on Tyson Fury. So it's justified to think he could be pound for pound number one, but just so much as well as the others. John Boxing and others, guys, they will say, yes, anybody could have it, and I don't disagree with them. But no, Bud Crawford is number one. Basically contradicting themselves. Alvarez Film says, Sean, it seems like those channels like Dante and even Bill Haney are going after Mexican fans for not supporting them and claiming they are all racist. It's causing more divide, in my opinion. Well, it's just a fucking stupid mentality. Those guys know because they fucking do it themselves. When we talk about Canelo Alvarez, a historically great Mexican fighter, an all-time great and potentially the best Mexican fighter of all time, potentially. These guys have very little positive things to say about Canelo Alvarez. He's flat-footed, his feet are slow, he's fucking got bad defense. If he had to fight Bud Crawford at 147, he doesn't have the same skill set. Like, it's a constant fucking opportunity to shit on a Mexican fighter. A lot of these black American guys that are fucking moaning and groaning that Mexico doesn't support Devin Haney don't support fucking Canelo Alvarez or Mexican fighters and never have. They didn't support fucking Julio Cesar Chavez. They all fucking were in their feelings when fucking he robbed Pernell Whitaker. Me too. I wasn't a fucking Chavez fan. I felt Pernell Whitaker was robbed. But these guys also never supported Chavez, don't support Canelo Alvarez, won't support the next great Mexican fighter either because they're not black. So Mexican boxing fans need to do what black boxing fans have never done and probably will never do. Support another ethnic minority. Just think about how that fucking sounds, right? Like me, it's different. I'm fucking not a majority. I'm a minority in boxing, white Caucasian, right? Not really represented outside of European fighters as far as North American fighters. It's okay. I don't fucking care. I support boxers overall. So this whole thing doesn't mean anything to me. But the biggest contributor to Devin Haney not being more supported is the black community. Tank Davis fans fucking spend day after day shitting all over Devin Haney. Just like Devin Haney LDBC fans spend all day shitting all over fucking Tank Davis. These are similar groups that spent all day shitting on Bud Crawford, while the other group spent all day shitting on fucking Errol Spence. This is the problem. Black American boxing fans don't, as a group or as a whole, support Black American fighters. It's not other people's job to support your fighters. If they do, great. That means you crossed over. That means you're really becoming a superstar in the sport, where you're literally crossing over so other ethnic minority groups actually support you. But it's not fucking expected. It's not owed, right? And that's the biggest thing. It's not fucking owed. Nobody owes Devin Haney fucking anything. Nothing. But his father is such a fucking dumbass, he doesn't understand that everything he does reflects negatively on his son, which is one reason why people in the black community don't support his son. Farmer better get the KO because no way he is getting a decision over Zepeda in Mexico. Is that fight in Mexico? Ooh, that's going to be tough. No shit. He got Black America on the top. Hard recoil, I don't understand. No shit. He got Black American on the top. Samal, explain more. Young Gun says, I thought Dennis Hogan beat Munguia in Mexico, but got railroaded on the cards. Yeah. That's always the thing when you travel, right? You're at risk of potentially losing. Even though only in America will you fight and have all American judges. If you go to Mexico, it's not going to be 3 Mexican judges fucking scoring the fight. You go to Japan, it ain't going to be fucking 3 Japanese refs judging the fight. Only in America, you get 3 Americans judging a fight with one of the fighters being American. So, when Americans complain about fighting overseas, I just say, stop. you get tons of robberies in the US. We just fucking had one last weekend. So, Mr. Sean, why doesn't Bam call out Junto? Bam's scared of Junto. He'd rather fight marginal fighters for unification titles that nobody fucking cares about. Because in truth, there's no fighter currently at 115 pounds outside of Roman Gonzalez that fucking sells a ticket to the US market. Even Ioka, who is a 4-weight world champion and a great Japanese fighter, don't sell shit in America. You'd have to do that fight in Japan if you want to get your money's worth, right? We know Bam wasn't interested in fighting Junto at 112 pounds, wasn't interested in fighting Junto at 115 pounds, and is probably fucking even less interested in fighting Junto at 118 pounds. So I just say it's safe to bet that that fight's probably never going to happen. I know True School Sports says that's the fight to make. Bam versus Junto, not Junto versus Inoue. But that is bullshit, because the truth is he's in his feelings about the possible fight with Inoue and Junto happening in Saudi Arabia, because he knows, like I know, like you should know, that Junto versus Inoue in Japan would be the biggest boxing fight in Japanese fucking boxing history. Junto versus Bam is not that big in Japan and is even smaller in America. So it's a great fight. Hardcore fans would love it. If you want to see Junto cross over to the American market, Bam is easily the best opponent he could fight in America. But the biggest fight of his career for his legacy is easily fucking Inoue, the monster. That fight's legendary. And if he loses to Inoue at 122, he can always fucking rematch Inoue down the road, right? And if he beats Inoue, whoo, we know that he's not going to get the attention from American boxing fans who don't really care about Japanese boxing. So it must be based on racism that they don't support a Japanese fighter. Just like Japanese fight fans don't support Mexicans or Black Americans, even though I think if you talk to real hardcore boxing fans in Japan, just like real hardcore boxing fans anywhere, they support fighters from all kinds of ethnic races, regardless of their own. Isn't the word Nick Ball end of 2025 for Inoue? That's what we're hearing. And I hope that's true. I think that's great. I don't think fighting Nick Ball at 126 pounds is an indication that Inoue is moving to 126. I think Inoue could go up to 126. It's a 4-pound jump against a small fighter, right? A guy who's shorter than him, shorter reach, not really a big guy. He could go up, fight him, become a 5-weight world champion, and then easily move back down to 122 pounds to defend his undisputed titles versus Junto early 2026. I know what the American fight fans will say. Guys like True School and others, they will get in their feelings. They will be emotional. They will say it's a duck, him winning a title, moving back to 122 pounds. But no, Junto Nakatani is the biggest fight for fucking Inoue's career at this point. There's no 126-pound fighter that's a bigger fighter than that. None. Zero. Definitely not fucking Angelo Leo, who literally is more of a pro box fighter than anything else. When will he fight Nakatani? Hopefully early 2026. You think about the way they're talking about things. Cardenas next, MJ in September in Japan, potentially Ball in Saudi Arabia in December. That would be maybe May, April, May. Junto in Japan. What a fucking year that would be. Cardenas, MJ, Ball, Junto, all within a 1-year period of time. But real boxing fans are going to be excited about that. Haters are going to find reasons to shit. They'll say, Cardenas is a nobody. Who's he fighting? Another bum. MJ's overrated. He ain't so good. Why does MJ need to go to Japan? Oh, fucking Nick Ball. Why is he fighting Nick Ball? He's the worst of the 4 champions at 126 pounds, even though he already knocked out fucking Stephen Fulton. Right? Oh, why is he going back to 122? Why is he ducking the other champions and not going for undisputed at 126 pounds? Why isn't he trying to be like Bud Crawford? Like, the amount of hate people push consistently is fucking numbing. People are just miserable fucking dickheads. Or, as I taught one of the African girls who work with me today, jerk-offs. Fucking jerk-offs. That's what they are. Jerk-offs. And act like a victim. Act like a victim. Right? Devin Haney's acting like a victim. People just say, yeah, you got fucked. But you did agree to the payout. And you did get hit by that left hand again and again and again and again and again and again. As a boxer, you should have made fucking adjustments. You didn't. So people are skeptical about how you're going to make adjustments in the next fight. But everybody wants to see the next fight. Everybody thinks you deserve an opportunity to redeem yourself, right? That's all boxing fans can do. All boxing fans can do is give you the opportunity to redeem yourself in the fucking ring. Excuse me. A lot of the people who've been anti-Devin Haney are fighters, boxers, UFC guys that think the way him and his father rolled was pussy. This is not even fans. This is literally people in the game that have no respect for the way they rolled. I didn't think it's such a big deal because, like Ring IQ, I felt they were just going for leverage so they could negotiate a rematch, right? And as long as you got the rematch, then the rest fucking doesn't matter. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see. Stringer says, hey, Sean, Drew Titan deleted the videos of him exposing Naoi's hand wraps and the one where he reacted to Fulton getting destroyed. Guess he was extremely ashamed. Well, he's a fucking douche, that guy. Who literally watches a fucking channel with a douche like him who wished that fucking Tyson Fury's coach would die in a fucking van crash? Like, some people are just disgusting fucking individuals. And he is the epitome of that. Salute Sean, salute Boss Deck. Rachel Donaire gave Drew Titan and the other LDBC members that ammunition with the Nui gloves and drug testing, which sounds like crap. She's a fucking idiot, right? An idiot. The fact that she even deals with LDBC, who fucking hates her husband, never supported her husband, never had a kind word to say about fucking Donaire at all. Tells you everything you need to know, right? How many YouTube channels is she jumping on that have been lifetime supporters of her husband, who supported him through the Rigo situations, the Nicholas Walters situations, all the way back down to fucking 118 pounds? None. She'd rather fucking butt uglies with the fucking LDBC. That's her choice. She's going to get an STD, but, you know, it's not my fucking issue. Good luck. Wear a condom, Rachel. Any interesting fights soon? This weekend, we got some interesting fights. I'll talk about that next. Yeah, bro, that stupid hag was extremely bitter because of that Inui did to Nonito. Right? And the reality of the situation is the reason the first fight was so competitive is because Inui was such a fucking supporter of Nonito, had so much respect for him that he didn't really approach that fight the way he should have, right? Too much respect for Nonito Donaire. And because of that, he ended up getting hurt, which extended the fight and made it into what it was, a great fight. But in hindsight, if he would have came in with less respect of Nonito Donaire, he would have got fucking flatlined earlier in the first fight as well. BFTB used to call Nonito trash. Now he calls him his brother. Exactly. Right? And Nonito's going to fucking take that in as if these people need to deal with these scumbags. I mean, Nonito. You know, every Filipino boxing fan out there knows every time you talk to the LDBC, it's a bad look. You could just ask all the Filipino boxing fans because they saw the shit these fucking toads were fucking throwing at you. LDBC never was big on Filipinos because of Pacquiao. Exactly. Which is ironic because 78 was not really a huge Floyd Mayweather fan. Actually had his channel closed down back in the day by fanatical fucking Floyd Mayweather fans. You know, Floyd Mayweather fans are a lot like fucking the Democrats, right? They moan and groan, cry racism, just want to be loved, please give me a hug. Yet they're the most vile fucking group on YouTube, right? Yet all the racist channels, for the most part, are the most fucking centered and fucking straightforward people around, right? It's the same as fucking the right versus the left. It's ridiculous. And my Donald Trump wig is coming in, so look forward to probably sometime late next week for the Donald Trump of the LDBC to represent. He had so much respect for Nonito that he even used winning gloves in the first fight instead of using his Clito Reyes like he did in the rematch. Exactly, right? He had nothing but respect for that guy. And then his wife comes out and literally fucking throws out this sabotage type of bullshit. And this is the same Nonito Donaire who ended up getting beat by who? The same guy fucking Junto Nakatani knocked the fuck out. You got beat by Santiago. But then we're supposed to believe the only reason fucking Inui beat you is because of gloves and fucking steroids? Get fucked. Oh my God. What a fucking douche, man. But hey, I don't want to harp on that. It is what it is. You know, every dumb person has a voice as well as everybody else. But yeah, let's talk about the fights coming up this weekend. Where is it? Events. I think it's events. There we go. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. So there's a few good fight cards this weekend. So let's talk about it and break it down. So obviously this card from Top Rank is on. And Top Rank, I don't know why people don't give Top Rank more credit for the consistent, solid cards they put out every month. They might not be fucking elite, pound for pound, superstar matchups, but they put out consistent cards. They build up their young fighters, give them good opportunities to fucking showcase them, and just consistently move forward with these fighters until they get to a point where they're multiple weight world champions and too big for their britches, and eventually fucking say that Bob Arum and Top Rank are racists because they don't know how to promote black fighters, and then they leave to go to a different promoter. But the reason why they're so well known and so accomplished is because of Top Rank, right? And it's not just black fighters. It's De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, you know, fucking a slew of fighters similarly. But let's break this down. Obviously, a fighter who's getting a lot of attention, a guy who's not supported and not loved by Black America. You never see John Boxing talk about Emiliano Vargas as one of the best young prospects in American boxing, and you never will. If anything, he'll make a video shitting on him, saying he's fucking overrated. But obviously, great son, great father, Vargas, big mouth, fucking exciting style. I compare Teofimo Lopez to him a lot. Very similar type of personalities. His son's got everything he needs. 5'9", 72-inch reach. Very good for his weight class. Currently 12-0, 10 knockouts. The kid is only 20 years old. But I've been critical because I said he's really been fighting low-level opposition. Not the kind of fighters that are really going to help him get prepared moving forward. If you look at these guys he was fighting, 5-0, 6-2, 8-10, 10-2, 9-8-2, 13-6-1. You know, not high-level competition, right? But mind you, he's a young kid. They're bringing him up the way they feel they need to. Now he's going to be fighting this guy, Giovanni Gonzalez, 27-2 in an 8-rounder. You know, let's not hate because, you know, Abdullah Mason hasn't fought a 10-rounder either. So it is what it is. This kid, 15 knockouts, some good power, 35-year-old, obviously experienced, 5'6", shorter fighter from California, coming off of a loss in his last fight, but against a kid that was 16-0, right? Losing to him, but nonetheless, you go back to him losing to Adam Lopez. Adam Lopez's record of 16-5 doesn't look good, but anyone that really follows boxing knows that Adam Lopez is a really, really good fucking fighter. So in truth, this guy's probably a good opponent for Emiliano, right? He's going to come in. He's a veteran. He's been in with high-level fighters that have really accomplished, when he fought them, more than Emiliano Vargas. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. If Vargas can look sensational in this fight, that will be a good win for him. And obviously, upwards and onwards, right? What's funny is Nonito and Rachel trained Zefra when he stopped by Lara in like one round. I remember those types of lies are extremely dangerous for Rachel, especially since people like the LDBC eat that shit up. Exactly. Did Arum discriminate in favor of white and Hispanic fighters? No. Arum only cares about money. He moves fighters that are marketable. If you are black and marketable, look at Keyshawn. Keyshawn is being fucking moved great and given huge opportunities and really fucking embracing it and seems to really be growing. Don't be surprised that by the end of 2025, he's bigger than Shakur Stevenson, another fighter that obviously was a silver medal Olympian, brought up through Top Rank as well, given opportunities, won 3 weight divisions, unified at 130 pounds, but stylistically not fucking marketable. Keyshawn, completely opposite. And he's going to probably become bigger because he's far more marketable, has a far better, more exciting style. But let's continue to check out this card. Then, of course, we got Delante Johnson against Kendo Casteda. That's a great fucking fight. Really, really a solid opponent for this young up-and-comer. Johnson, not the hardest puncher, slick fighter, not the longest reach either. 5'11" with a 71-inch reach, right? That tells you a lot. As far as a fighter like him, not power, but an outboxer who's kind of a slick fighter, having that short reach is kind of similar to Shakur Stevenson. It limits you because you're not going to be able to be as effective as you would if you had a longer reach. Floyd Mayweather was super effective because he had a 72-inch reach for his size, which was very good, which allowed him to move all the way to 154 pounds and have the same reach as every single opponent he fought or more, right? So he never was at a disadvantage. For Johnson, him jumping in, he just beat Alamo, which was a great win. Really, a really good win. This guy was 22-2-1, highly rated 140-pound fighter. To beat him as convincingly as he did, great victory. Now he's fighting a guy in Castena who has been in with a lot better competition. You can see he's lost 8 fights, but he's been in with solid competition, right? And because of that, he's going to be a real good test. Just losing to Kenneth Sims, Elvis Rodriguez in his last 2 fights, beat Cameron Crawl. Prior to that, lost to Antonio Moran. Obviously, beat Sonny Fredrickson, lost to Raul Cruel. Like, he's been in with great fighters. Zepeda fought Alamar back then, had a draw, so 2 times he fought him. Obviously, seeked revenge and beat him in the rematch. It's a really, really quality opponent for the young up-and-comer. And it'll be interesting to see if he's able to go in there and get a very good, impressive victory. But nonetheless, I mean, this is the way you want guys to be moved. This is a great projection for him. Then, of course, we got Bruce Carrington. Bruce Carrington, who's coming under some criticism from other Black American fighters, right? Black on black hate. You got Raymond Ford and Stephen Fulton shitting on him because he's calling out all the fighters in boxing, which is what every young fighter does, right? If you've ever listened to Bruce Carrington, this kid really has his shit together. His head's on straight. He's well-spoken. I guarantee you he's going to be a fucking pundit ringside at fights in the future because he's really well-spoken. He's stepping in to face Enrico Vivas. Obviously, he didn't look great in his last fight, so he's fighting a tough veteran fighter, but obviously a guy that doesn't have a lot of special effects. 23-3, right? Experienced, not a bum, right? 23-3, never been stopped, 12 knockouts. So not a hard puncher, but a hard, grinding Mexican fighter, 3 losses, but has never been stopped by anyone, right? Obviously fought Joet Gonzalez. We just saw Joet Gonzalez have a career-defining victory in his last fight. Edward Baez, majority decision against him. Solid. His other one, a loss to Ruben Villa, right? Another highly rated fighter. So this is a great opponent as well. I mean, for Carrington, obviously expectations are high. When you call out everybody, people expect you to prove that shit. He's 27 years old now. He's getting to the point where you're not a prospect. You're a fucking contender and a guy that should be fighting the other top fighters in the division. 14 wins, 8 KOs, 5'8" with a 72-inch reach. Great measurements, right? His last performance against Seguala, that was 2 fights ago, he didn't look great. Since then, obviously, he bounced back with a victory. Now he's going to jump in with Vivas, another quality fighter. But when we look at his resume, good names. But what's missing are top 10 ranked fighters from the division. Let's just take a quick peek at this division to put it in context. So here's his division right now. Robsy Ramirez, Kameda, Carrington, Figueroa, Vargas, Lopez, Fulton, Leo, Ball, Espinoza, right? There's 9 fighters right there. Kameda, I don't rank so high, but nonetheless, 8 fighters at least. 8 fighters that would potentially be great opponents for him. And career-defining fighters. Guys that have way better careers than him, have done a lot in the sport of boxing, and would be interesting matchups. Chava says, you talk a lot about black people. You are wrong about them. I live in LA. Black people here are solid people. Chava, what did I say about black people? I said that Devin Haney's father is barking up the wrong tree when he calls all Mexicans racist because they don't support his son. Because I guarantee you, all those fucking black Americans in Los Angeles, the majority of them support black American athletes over Mexican athletes. I grew up with all black guys. I played basketball in Toronto. None of us supported fucking Duke. None of us supported fucking Boston. We all supported UNLV. We all supported Michigan. We all supported fucking all the great black athletes in the US. I'm sure it's fucking exactly the same in fucking Los Angeles. Obviously, there's always a few other people that are different, but come on, Chava. What are you saying? What did I say about black Americans? My family are black Americans in the States. I know you don't believe it, but it's a fact. I'm not hating on black Americans. What I said is that Devin Haney's father expecting Mexicans to support his son is kind of like fucking Canelo Alvarez expecting black Americans to support him. If you get them, it's great. It means you're becoming a crossover star. But you don't expect that fan base to be your biggest supporters. You know that too. You play basketball? White men can't jump, Sean. I could dunk. What do you mean? The best dunkers in fucking basketball now are all white. The best dunkers. Even though I say that and I put like a highlight clip of these high school kids, man, fucking crazy jumpers. 3 black dudes, right? And fuck, man, like here. Oh my God. But there's, all the pro dunking champions in the States right now. They're all mostly white guys, which is ironic. You went on a 17-minute racial rant. A racial rant? No, buddy. It's not a racial rant. What I said is just what I told you. What did I say that was racial? I said Mexican fighters don't expect black Americans to support them. Why is Devin Haney calling Mexicans racist? Because they don't support his son. The people that need to support his son are black Americans. And then I talked about how the biggest problem is Tank Davis fans fucking spend their time hating on him and his fans, the LDBC, spend all their time hating on Tank Davis. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. I don't fucking care. When I hear Devin Haney's father talk, I think he's the problem because he makes his son look fucking softer than Charmin. Is that a racial response? I support my Mexican fighters before any other fighter. Yeah, Chava, you just fucking proved my point. You literally proved my fucking point. So I don't know what your whole fucking statement was. Literally. And I'm sure your black friends support their black fighters above everybody else as well. So thank you for proving my point. Good talk. You don't talk about black people. We just debunked the disgusting narratives placed on non-black fighters by particular prejudiced black boxing fans here on YouTube. Exactly. What's up, Mars? Zepeda's coach said Shakur Stevenson's rejected a May 3rd contract to be on Canelo versus Skull undercard, saying it's too soon. Yeah, it's not a fucking duck. You know dumbasses are going to say it's a duck, but Shakur Stevenson just fought. He came off of hand injury fucking at the end of last year. We know his hands are fucked. So anyone that doesn't understand that, they're just looking for a way to fucking dick ride Zepeda, who ducked Shakur most recently, right? And just trying to find a way to hate on Shakur. And it's fine. You don't have to like Shakur. Stylistically, he's not a fun fighter to watch, but he is one of the best fighters in boxing. Skill-wise, you got to give him a chance to beat everybody he fights. LA. Everybody. I mean, Shakur is a fucking skilled fighter. Whether you like him or not, that's up to you. Style-wise, I'm not a fan, but I don't hate on the brother. And I'm not going to say that he's ducking Zepeda. No fucking chance. Even though Chava would love you to think that I'm a racist that's fucking hating on black Americans. I grew up in LA too. As a Mexican American during racial tensions, I experienced racism from blacks, but I'm not pointing the finger like the video from Dante and Haney who are pointing fingers. That's the problem. Those dudes are always fucking pointing fingers. Go look at Bruce Vain. There's no one on YouTube that hates on Mexican boxing fans more than Bruce Vain. Nobody. Bill was saying Devin got booed because LA is full of Mexicans, yet he booed in New York. Yeah. Norman, I'm sure, would like the winner of Boots versus Stanionis, but will Eddie be able to get him more money than the 1.7 million number that was floated? And the irony with that situation is you think he's making 1.7 million in this weekend's fight against Cuevas? Fucking no chance. Sean, now that Devin has fallen, Blue Blood's new favorite is Keyshawn. Well, Blue Blood, Alvarez Films, we are racist towards black people too. Yeah, Chava. So you're again proving my point. So when one group points out and claims racism, yet they do the same fucking thing, what's the difference? That's all I'm saying. It becomes ridiculous when you're always playing the fucking victim, even though you victimize just as much as you play fucking victim. I'm telling you, my experience, where is it? Black people are solid. Yeah, I never said anything bad about black people. See, this is once again someone who just doesn't listen. I don't know why Oscar is blocking Zepeda from Shakur. He had a chance to win, especially in Saudi, who favors pressure fighters in the scorecards. Blue Blood is all clickbait with no substance or facts, like fucking Fannin. Norman just pulling a Caleb Plant. Wait till Boots gets 3 belts and demand the highest pay on his fucking side of the street. Exactly, right? That's the problem with a lot of these fucking guys. That's the PBC model. Let's move to the next fight. What's next? Michelle Mayer versus Sandy Ryan. I don't really care about women's boxing, but obviously that's a good fight for a WBO title. Then we get to Brian Norman. I thought it was funny because John Boxing just made a video the other day talking about how, racists were hating on a particular fighter. Yet the irony is that the person who came out and literally hated on that fighter was Brian Norman's father, a black American guy, who was saying that Tank Davis was soft. It wasn't racist fans saying that. It was literally black American trainer who grew up with Tank Davis that came out with that narrative, right? And if other fans are going to jump on it and then use it, that's the same as people fucking using Paulie Malignaggi to shit on Canelo Alvarez, and then using Paulie Malignaggi and calling him a racist because he shits on Tank Davis. People will say fucking anything to try to push a narrative. Bill is the biggest clown in boxing. I love when he got embarrassed by Ryan. He almost cried. Oh, listen, you talk a lot about the LDBC and black people when you're supposed to be a boxing channel. Chava, you're sounding a bit like a bitch. LDBC is a boxing group on YouTube. Black people, black fighters are a huge component of boxing. It's like talking about the NBA and not talking about black players. If I didn't talk about black athletes in boxing, then I would want you to call me a racist. Because that would be fucking sick if I didn't even talk about fighters. Literally, I just praised fucking Shakur Stevenson, in my video. But I guess that went over your head because I know you don't like Shakur Stevenson. I guarantee you're not a fan of him, but okay. So here's Brian Norman, 24 years old, a guy who blatantly ducked a Boots Ennis fight for a career high payday, right? You can't make this shit up. Saying that $1.7 million is not enough money. Man, this dude never got paid $1 million in his fucking career. He didn't get paid $1 million to fight Santillan because he was the fucking B-side, right? And that was 2024 April. Now, almost a year later, he hasn't fought in a fucking year, and he's going to take on Derek Cuevas, right? You know he ain't making fucking $1.7 million to fight this Puerto Rican kid. 27, 1-1, never been knocked out, 19 KOs. And what potentially could happen is Derek Cuevas will fucking beat Howard, and he will lose his WBO title, and he literally walked away from a $1.7 million contract to get beat by an unknown Puerto Rican kid who will jump at the chance to fight fucking Boots Ennis for $1.7 million. Right? This is the problem with a lot of American boxers, right? They price themselves out, they fucking don't fight enough, and they hurt their fucking careers. His only loss coming to Damon Esquies Benelli by split decision. So literally, right, he hasn't really been beat by anybody. That one split decision could have easily went his way. I don't know who to expect to win. Obviously, I favor Brian Howard. I think he's going to be one of those guys that we know, people say are like 15% better when they become a world champion. I think this is going to be a situation with Brian Norman. I think he's going to be 15% better now that he's a champion, more confident, right? Able to dedicate himself more to boxing. The problem is you can't fight once a fucking year when you're a 24-year-old kid, right? Like Top Rank, I know they were going to give him more fights than that. The reason he didn't fight is because of his father and him. They limited his opportunity to make money. They limited his success. If he would have beat Boots Ennis for $1.7 million, became a unified champion, he would be the one fighting Stanionis right now, probably for fucking $3.5 million for a 3-belt unification, right? You can't make this shit up. It's very disappointing the way some of these people maneuver their careers. That's exactly what he's sounding like, Sean. I think so. I never experienced racism in grade school from white kids. It was the black kids calling me spick and beaner. I think people fucking all are racist across the board, right? So, people that always want to play victim, they're highlighting fucking shit that they do to other people. I know when I say this is what blacks say towards athletes, I grew up and all my friends were fucking Caribbean, black Canadians. And I had no problem with them. I supported fucking black athletes like crazy. But in doing that, I also learned, right? I was integrated into this culture. All the girls I dated were black girls, right? I went to all the parties where I was the only white guy there. I was integrated in that. You would call me a wigger, right? That's what I was when I was in high school, a wigger. So I grew up in this culture. So obviously not American, and I do understand America and Canada have some differences, but I'm not talking out of my ass, and I ain't hating. I'm just pointing out something. You could agree with me or disagree with me. That's fine. But there's no point playing victim. Norman Stat has fought more this year as he took on Craig Hackett on a boxing YouTube. I heard that. I heard that. I agree with you, bro. I'm sharing my experience as well. All I'm saying is that it works both ways. These LDBC channels are pushing hate and causing more divide, which I don't support. Facts. Alvarez Films, then why do you continue to give them views if they are so bad? I don't think people give them views, but you can't help but see what people are saying. I don't watch LDBC videos anymore, but I still fucking see the videos and see the fucking clickbait titles and still see what's being sold. The belt is cursed. Giovanni took it from Rocha. Norman took it from Santillan. Cuevas is next. That's kind of like a lot of divisions go through that, eh? If someone is racist to you, just be racist back. Stop complaining like a 3044. American boxing is the biggest voice on YouTube in the English language. That's true. So let's keep talking about boxing. I'm excited about this card, but then again, because it's Top Rank, I can't watch it in fucking Asia. I'm going to need to stream it illegally, which means fucking I'll be fucked and not be able to get a good stream, because consistently that's what happens. I pray that I can get a good stream, but chances are that I'm going to get fucked. So I'm probably going to resort to watching this card on DAZN. It's going to be on DAZN, right? Yes, the card from Mexico. So it's better. At least I can watch this and I can go live. So you guys can jump in and join me. And when you look at this card, it's not too bad. Obviously, you got the big women's fight. Yokasta Vale, Marlon Zapales, Marlon Esperanza. I'm not a big fan of either one of them, but obviously, like the Top Rank card, this is a solid female on female fight. I'm looking forward to Oscar Collazo, the best Puerto Rican fighter in boxing today, defending his WBO world minimum weight title. Collazo's great, man. And Collazo definitely deserves more credit. It's funny, he's literally fighting on a card in Mexico because they've been doing quite a few cards in Puerto Rico. So I'm kind of surprised he wasn't on those cards. 28 years old, 11-0 with 8 KOs. Man, he is a great fighter. When you look at the level of competition he's faced already, solid fighters, fucking 20-2, 21-5, 15-1, 13-1. Obviously, early on, he fought low-level dudes, but look how fast he jumped up to fight really high-level opponents, ex-world champions, right? The guy he's fighting now, I don't know who he is, but I assume he's a Mexican fighter. Yep. Edwin Cano Hernandez, 13-2-1, 4 KOs. So this is mostly just a stay busy fight. This guy, I don't know who he's fought. David Jimenez, I know him. He lost to Jimenez by third round KO. So you can look forward to Collazo probably stopping him inside 5 rounds as well, which would be good for him. Obviously, we want to see him moving up to take on better opponents moving forward. Where is that minimum weight division? Let's scroll down. Currently, there is Pedro Tandurin, who is the IBF champion, Collazo, the WBC and the WBO champion, Melvin Jerusalem, who's going to be fighting maybe this weekend against Yude Shigeko, Japanese brother, who was the champion but lost to Melvin Jerusalem and now is rematching Melvin Jerusalem, which is great. Chinjiro, he is number 2 right now by the IBF and potentially will try to get an IBF fight with Pedro Tanduran. So you potentially could have Collazo being a unified champion with the two Japanese brothers holding down the other titles. And I'm hoping to see Collazo fight one, if not both of them, sometime soon. That would be great. Him trying to become undisputed. He is kind of the modern day Ricardo Lopez, El Finito. Damn, that's tough. I thought DAZN would pick up the global rights. Well, DAZN has that fight, but of course they don't have the Top Rank fight. I don't know. Top Rank used to be on, what was that other app that was popular for a short period of time? Before I could watch all the Top Rank fights there, it always cost me like $2 or $3 or $5, not much. But for that amount of money to see it on a Prime app, it's not a problem. I was happy about it. You know what's funny? I stopped watching the videos long ago, but the algorithm has different plans. Laugh out loud. Talk about bad timing. I just hate the divide and want unity. Well, chances are there's never. Yes, Fight TV, Mars. Exactly. What happened to Fight TV? They should fucking keep showing ESPN fights. It was excellent. More historical Mexican fighters than any other fighters. You agree? Oh, there are more historical Mexican fighters than any other fighters. I don't think that's true. I think Black Americans probably outnumber historical great Mexican fighters, just because Black American fighters dominated more divisions during, the 20s to the 60s, whereas Mexican fighters really didn't pop off till when? Really in a big way until like the 60s, right? Obviously, we had lots of Irish fighters, lots of Jewish fighters, lots of Italian American fighters, right? That obviously have a long reigning of high level of fighters as well. All the immigrants, right? When you look at immigration to America, you can see the time period when Jewish Americans immigrated, became great fighters in boxing. Irish Americans immigrating became great boxers during that period. Italian Americans immigrating, obviously having Marciano and a lot of great Italian fighters. Mexicans immigrating to America and obviously getting a lot of great Mexicans as well. So, immigration, it's definitely provided America with a lot of great fighters over the years. So now we're waiting for the next run of immigrants, wherever they may come from. Then, of course, we got the rematch between Zepeda and Tevin Farmer. Zepeda, 32-0, 27 years old. I mean, I like Zepeda, but Zepeda has really been fucking babied by Oscar De La Hoya. I think they really, at one point, he was so dominant, running through people. That was the time to throw him in with big fights. But I guess they felt that he just couldn't deal with certain styles, which is fine. Then they should have just threw him in with different styles, right? But still world title fights. Like, why didn't they try to make Zepeda versus Lomachenko? Zepeda, from what I heard, was supposed to be the IBF mandatory when Lomachenko beat George Kambosos, meaning that Lomachenko was sort of contracted to face George and then instantaneously fight Zepeda. That would have been a great fight, right? Stylistically, it would have been a good fight. Obviously, Lomachenko is not a big fighter. He's not super long. He's not a slick back foot boxer. So, it potentially would have made for fun fights. But they chose to, I don't know, like, first you're chasing Shakur. Stylistically, Shakur is never going to be a great opponent for him. It's never going to be a great look either way. And now you fight Farmer, who's similar. You kind of get exposed. Now you're rematching Farmer. I don't know if that's really a fight anyone's that excited to see, because the first fight wasn't that great, right? U.S. is the number one historical, mostly because of Black Americans. Mexico, number two. Exactly. It's crazy how different the sport world is, especially in basketball and boxing, where it's the international athletes that taken over the throne. Taking over the throne, even though in basketball, Caitlin Clark, Cooper Flagg. When Cooper Flagg goes number one in this year's NBA draft after Duke wins the NCAA tournament. A lot of the same hate is going to fucking befall Cooper Flagg that has befallen fucking Caitlin Clark. And why is that, my man Chava? Because Black Americans not going to fucking support Cooper Flagg like they didn't support fucking Caitlin Clark. They're going to support their own athletes instead. And they're going to find ways to undermine and not give them full credit for what they're doing. And say the only reason they're getting tons of attention is because they're white. Because that's always the go-to, right? Caitlin Clark is not that good. She's only getting attention because she's white. Fuck, man. Can we just give people fucking praise? So Larry Bird wasn't really good. He only got fucking attention because he was white. Fucking Hichiro is not really fucking good. He's only getting attention because he's Japanese. Golden Boy might go all in for Tank versus Zepeda. He ranked number 1 in the WBA. Stylistically, that would be a great fight. I mean, if you could have Tank Davis fight anybody, Lomachenko, Zepeda, stylistically would probably be the best. I think Keyshawn Davis is all wrong for Tank Davis. And Shakur, because his style, it's going to be a tough, ugly fight. It's not going to be a fight, that makes Tank Davis look good, even if he wins. Cooper should stay another year. Wizards are a horrible organization. But the Wizards aren't guaranteed to win, right? They have the most opportunity, balls or chances, but we know they probably won't get the number 1 draft pick. Zepeda, Munguia, Zurdo, some padding records, first 30 fights, pretty trash. But Mexican fighters, right, who grew up in Mexico, they always have padded stats. It's like Thai fighters, right? There's not many countries that really fast forward fighters when they initially become pro. Japan, but outside of Japan, the majority of countries, they move guys slowly, build them into stars by fighting trash cans, building the record impressively, right? Nowhere worse than fucking Thailand. Thailand easily is fucking worse than Mexico. But yeah, I mean, it's like Jaime Munguia, right? When Munguia was talked about as a potential opponent for Golovkin, as a replacement opponent for Canelo when he failed the drug test, nobody even knew who Munguia was. His record was impressive, but literally nobody had ever seen the kid fight before, didn't know who the fuck he was. They just knew he was part of Golden Boy stable, right? Obviously, he went on to become a 154-pound champion afterwards. But in that fight, they wouldn't sanction that fight because literally nobody knew who he was. He hadn't done anything, right? For Zepeda, I mean, whether you win, lose, or draw, Zepeda is the kind of fighter who can have a great career for making great, exciting fights. So he's got to make fights, man. Throw Zepeda in with fucking Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn knocks his ass out inside 5. I think Keyshawn is the most dangerous fighter at 135 pounds. Not to diminish Tank Davis, who's obviously super fucking dangerous as well. But, you got to be honest. Keyshawn got that reach advantage. He's a naturally bigger fighter that's going to be able to control range and fucking just drop bombs on you. Sean, what's up with Keyshawn avoiding Andy Cruz to fight a bum? Oh, fuck. Please, man, don't make me block you. Don't make me block you. Why is it guys like you constantly are looking for ways to fucking troll? Get fucking Andy Cruz to earn fucking the mandatory shot. He hasn't done it yet. Get him to do it. Like, what bum is Keyshawn fighting? Apparently, his next opponent is fucking De Los Santos. De Los Santos is far from a fucking bum. De Los Santos is a good fighter, dangerous. So that would be a great fucking victory for Keyshawn Davis. If he was able to do to De Los Santos what Shakur Stevens couldn't do, he's just going to fucking leapfrog Keyshawn Davis as one of the most talked about American fighters in the sport of boxing and one of the hottest 135 pounders for sure. And a guy who, easily could potentially move up to 135 to get that Tio fight as well. I think you're reaching black people don't hate on non-black NBA players. You're fucking mental. Joker didn't deserve it. The only reason he was getting the talk is because he was a white player. You never heard all this on ESPN, right? Embiid won because all of the anti-white propaganda that went out against Joker. Luka criticized like fucking crazy. Come on, man. They get tons of love from black people. Sure, there's always going to be rational people from every single race, but you don't watch ESPN? Caitlin Clark is not the only white WNBA player. That's true, but she's the only one getting hate because she's the one bringing all the fucking attention to the WNBA. And people are in their feelings because she is the crossover star, not one of the great black players that have come before her. And yeah, lots of great black players in the league and beforehand, but they weren't able to cross over. They weren't able to grab the public's attention like Caitlin Clark has, like Cooper Flagg is. Vegas Commission vetoed the Munguia fight, but allowed Mayweather versus Conor. I know, but we know fucking Vegas. They're the ones, they fucking hid the fact that Floyd used an IV, illegal IV, and then they fucking didn't let Pacquiao use the chemicals that they let him train with leading up to the fight. But then they allowed Floyd to do what he did and then didn't release the stuff until months later when it was well past the fight. You know, they're fucking corrupt as hell. Women are not men, dude. Laugh out loud. They are cruel. You should become one of the 78s, 3 or 4s. You would fit right in. Keyshawn needs to move up in weight. He's too big. Shava, now you sound like a racist. Why does he need to move up in weight? Does Fonduro need to move up in weight? Does Espinoza need to move up in weight? Does Diego Pacheco need to move up in weight? Answer that question. Kendrick Perkins went on a campaign spreading anti-Joker MVP hate. Yeah. It was all over ESPN, constantly. And the truth be told, we know all what Embiid was. A super skilled fucking player who was fucking tissue soft. The dude's career is fucking done before it began. Chisora is IBF Mando for Dubois. I bet Dubois has no problem making it in the ring for that fight. Exactly. And to be fair, I don't mind Chisora getting another big payday, but in truth, Chisora should fucking retire. He's fucking himself up, right? These tough wars he's in, they're going to have a huge toll on that guy. When he retires, he's going to be one of those guys that murders somebody and ends up in jail because of fucking head trauma. ESPN's job is to be critical. LeBron James gets criticized for sweating too much. Yeah, okay. Is that their job, to be critics? I thought their job was to fucking be a news source for fans. We don't need fucking dumbass opinions consistently pushing fucking negativity, right? That's ESPN. All they do is push fucking hate, and primarily pro-black, anti-everybody else. Sure, they hate on LeBron, but he's fucking one of the few. Chava keeps complaining. Yes, he does. He is soft like tissue. Hey, what's going on, Sean? What's up, pound for pound? Thanks for jumping in. What do you think about this Zepeda versus Farmer rematch? For Farmer, I think it's great that he gets an opportunity to get another big payday. Obviously, Farmer looked like when he lost to Jojo Diaz, his career was done. He moved up. Obviously, lost to Raymond Murtala in a competitive fight. But part of that, look at who he was fighting. Nobody's 8-rounders. He was literally a pro box fighter, fighting guys that were bum-ass opponents. Faced Murtala. Murtala beat him. Obviously, Zepeda beat him, a little more competitive. So we'll see what happens. I expect Zepeda to beat him more convincingly this time around. I wonder what the whole PED testing situation is going to be like in Mexico. That's going to be an interesting scenario. Have you watched Skip Bayless? Fuck, Skip. My God. That dude's on fucking bronze nuts like crazy. We need LeBron versus Stephen A. exhibition fight. Again, right? They're like the LDBC and all these guys, man, pushing the drama. For truth, I don't give a fuck. LeBron James, you pulled your son into this, kind of like Devin Haney is pulling his son into it. And because of that, he's going to get scrutinized because people don't think he deserved what he got. Justifiably so. He fucking was garbage at USC. And to get drafted and then go to the Lakers, all because his dad is LeBron James. If this was any other fucking player in the NBA, that dude probably would not have fucking got drafted at all. He's not tall. He's like 6'3", maybe 6'4" on a good day for a wing. He ain't fucking a point guard. So he's going to be a wing guard who's undersized and definitely can't fucking shoot, right? So doesn't have a great handle, can't be a second ball distributor. So, come on. ESPN is already dragging Deion Sanders' son. He hasn't got drafted to the NFL yet. Isn't Deion Sanders' son supposed to be fucking unbelievable? Like, I haven't seen him play. I don't really watch too much college football in Taiwan, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. There's like two players in that team. The guy who's going to be the number one draft pick, the running back, who got punked by his fucking girlfriend. And then Sanders' son, who's a great fucking same position as Sanders, right? LeBron posted a video on IG of Smith punching a bag. Look at LeBron. So LeBron thinks fucking the fact that LeBron James lowers himself to this kind of fucking exchange says a lot about LeBron James and why a lot of people don't really respect him. His pro-China, but fucking anti-American approach. How do you think American NBA fans are going to fucking support a guy who's anti-America, but pro-fucking China? Douchebag. Stephen A. would knock LeBron out. Did you all see the video in which he is training in boxing? It does. Kobe. The truth is, LeBron James is way too big for old-ass Stephen A. Smith. Trying to fight guys with a long reach that are much bigger than you, it's hard to get into range to fucking land a punch. Even if you could, LeBron James would just fucking hug you to death. LeBron James is fucking roided to fucking the tits. Always has been. That guy's on the good juice. The good juice. And it's paid off well. He's had a great career. Thank you very much, Mr. Steroid. So a DAZN card, an ESPN top rank card, not too fucking shabby. I thought there was something else going on this weekend as well, if I'm not mistaken. What was that Japanese? Oh, okay. Here, let me check that out. I'm pretty sure there's a Japanese card as well. Or I missed it. The 30th. Is that this weekend? Yes. Or like sometime this weekend. Here we go. As I said, the rematch between Melvin Jerusalem, 23-3, versus Yudai Sugeko for that WBC title. I think this is a great fight. Obviously, the winner of this could fight Collazo. Look at this guy, 9-1, 5 KOs, 27 years old. Yes, he lost to Melvin Jerusalem by split decision after beating the champion Thai fighter Panya Prabsab 40-1 by decision, and beating Wilfredo fucking Mendez, obviously an ex-world champion as well. Bounced back with this guy, who I'm not familiar with, and now is going to rematch Jerusalem. I expect the Japanese fighter to win. How many Japanese fighters are we going to have as world champions in boxing after this day? Let's see. So if he does win, that's going to be 1. Then, of course, we have Yabuka, who's also, I think, fighting this weekend. That's 2. Shiro, that's 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think 8 Japanese world champions right now in boxing. This guy could be a champion soon as well. Hayato Tatsumi. So 8 world champions, potentially. We will see. I'm excited. Braun probably on TRT now. Yabuki, Ayala Yabuki this weekend. Yes, Evan, you're right. I knew there was something. LeBron been on top EPO since Miami tenure at least, for sure. The famous dads can't take any criticism. That's the cost of being famous. It is, man. They could take it. They just don't want their sons to be under the scrutiny. And I get that. I can feel them. But the truth is, LeBron did this to his kid. He put him in this situation. So you can't protect the kid. If he's going to be successful, he's going to have to deal with fucking some criticism. If he can't deal with criticism, then what the fuck is he doing in this game? Oh, I think Ibuki moved up, right? Yabuki, 17 and 4, 16 KOs, 2 knockouts, 32 years old, fighting Angel Ayala. Yes, I knew there was another big fight card that I was excited about, and this card is pretty fucking good. Coming out of Japan, you obviously have Yabuki, IBF world title fight. He's trying to become a 2-weight, 3-weight world champion, facing Angel Ayala, 18 and 8, 24-year-old young Mexican kid. It'll be interesting. Obviously, he came off of 2 good wins. The close fight with Felix Alvarez, obviously beating Dave Apalaria. But Yabuki's a hard puncher, man. He's got devastating one-punch power. So it'll be interesting to see how this Mexican kid can deal with it. Then, of course, you got this fight card, which is good. Magramo, 30 and 4, very good Filipino fighter. We can go back here. He lost to Anthony Alscago. Go back a little farther. Lost to Junto Nakatani back in the day in 2020. Now he's going to take on this prospect. They don't even have his picture. Aoi Yokoyama, 2-0, 1 KO, 23-year-old Japanese prospect, right? So far, not bad competition. 2-0, Chinese fighter, 13-3-2, and now Magramo, a legitimate opponent, 30 and 4. You beat this guy and you put yourself right in contention for a world title fight in your 4th fight as a professional. That shit's pretty impressive. King Nello. I heard MJ fighting on a Nui undercard. They might be co-main to Canelo Crawford in September. This dude, Will Smith, made it okay to go up to critics. This dude, Will Smith, made it okay to go up. Yeah, fucking. I had to defend what's-his-face for getting slapped by Will Smith. People in my office literally fucking defending Will Smith, thinking what he did was justified. Justified. He's lucky fucking somebody didn't shoot his ass when he walked out of the Oscars after that shit. Lily, what are you doing? Stop accosting me, man. I'm talking boxing here. You can calm down for a bit, right? And then, of course, this fight's not bad. Gio Santilimia versus this kid, another prospect. That's the thing a lot of these Japanese fighters were unfamiliar with, but this is a good opponent. 25 and 7, only stopped twice, not too old, 28 years old, 21 KOs. Stepping in with this kid, 4-0. The Japanese, man, they like to move their fighters quick, right? Another kid, so unknown, he don't have a picture, 4-0 with 2 KOs, 5'10", 24 years old. Came off of 3-10-3, 7-3-1, 8-6, 19-10-0, and now jumping in against 25-7. That shit looks good. So yeah, we got some good fight cards this weekend. Obviously, 2 from Japan, 1 from Mexico on DAZN, 1 from the States on Top Rank. So if you want to watch boxing, there's going to be a lot to watch. The question is, where can you watch those Japanese cards? I wouldn't be surprised if one of them is on ESPN as well. I bet Will Smith wouldn't have slapped if Dwayne The Rock made the joke. Well, of course he wouldn't. He ended up picking like the guy, you could even see he wasn't going to do it, looked at his wife, thought about it, felt like, shit, okay, it's Chris Rock. I probably can get away with it, right? Chris Rock had no fucking idea that this guy he knows was going to do some punk-ass fucking maneuver like that. Chris Rock could have sued him, but he didn't. Stand-up guy. He roasted on stage. Yeah, which is what he should do, right? You don't want to be a fucking Devin Haney and take the shit to court and look like a fucking punk. You got punked in front of fucking millions of fans, but the way you dealt with it, that's a G move, right? If he wanted to be like Haney, we know what he would have did. He would have sued fucking Will Smith. Like a soft motherfucker. He don't look like a punk. Who don't look like a punk? Chris Rock? Well, to be fair, Chris Rock took it and had some serious demeanor. Can you imagine most people with that happening? How would they fucking continue to sort of move forward, right? That shit's tough. Devin totally looks like a punk, man. Tevin looks soft as Charmin, buddy. And I don't say that to hate on Devin. The truth is, Devin's dad makes him look bad. Chris Rock don't look nearly as soft as fucking Devin Haney. He ain't suing nobody after getting assaulted. He did get assaulted. Devin Haney did not get assaulted. He signed a contract, took extra money, stepped into the ring, got fucking beat in a very competitive fight. I felt he won the fight. But the fact that he got hit by that left hand time and time and time again showed you that something's wrong, man, with his defense. And the same thing's going to happen in the rematch. People sue all the time in business. Sure, buddy, they do. But with the combination of fucking suing, right? After all the fucking smack talk and BS you were talking before the fight, now you're acting like a pussy after the fight. All the excuses that came out before we even knew that fucking the PED situation was an issue. And then with your dad fucking all over social media, fucking being a helicopter parent. Devin Haney's a fucking grown-up. He has a kid. He don't need his daddy fucking jumping all over, defending him against fucking public scrutiny. We just talked about ESPN, our critics. Devin Haney's a boxer. So he coming under scrutiny. His dad be tripping. Yeah. That's why he looks soft. He fucking aligned himself with the LDBC, got fucking gold cap teeth, started acting like he was fucking from the streets. And then what happens? Then you run to the fucking courts, contradicting everything, right? You so down that the first time fucking problems happen, you run to the man to fucking solve the problems for you. Jesus Christ, man. He looks soft. And the majority of people saying he looks soft are other boxers and MMA guys, people in the business, right? That don't have respect for Devin Haney and the way he rolled. Me, I don't fucking care. Truthfully, I don't give a shit. He could sue Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's a douche. He got lots of money. Sue him. I don't care. Because I know at the end of the day, they're just trying to get a rematch, right? So that's why I never really talked about it, because I don't really give a shit. My question is Devin Haney fucking mentally all there? This was a guy who was suspended for 1 year. Devin Haney was suspended for 1 year. Devin Haney fucking fought a guy on steroids, yet Devin Haney is the guy who was suspended for a year. Put your mind around that. How's Devin Haney suspended for a fucking year? Oh, I know. He fucking suspended himself. Instead of getting back in the ring, building his confidence with a fucking easy opponent where he could like feel good about himself, test his chin, maybe get comfortable with a guy who used the left hand, he fucking suspended himself for 1 year and made himself look like a punk through social media. Getting in a fight with a fucking carny at fucking the carnival, throwing a bitch ass punch, and then having your friends all fucking jump the dude. Again, looking like a punk, right? This just bad look for Devin Haney. His woman cheating on him. Like, it's one negative thing after another, after another, after another, all adding up to make him look fucking soft and like a punk. You don't have to agree, but unfortunately, social media disagrees with you completely. Dev be tripping, but we can't let boxers benefit from cheating. He didn't benefit. He fucking got suspended. He had to pay a fine. He couldn't fight for 1 year. The same time that Devin Haney couldn't fight. I'm sending my son to go kill him. Comments aged like milk. Exactly. Ryan Garcia was popped, so that fucked it up. He also missed weight. He also a disappointment. Well, going into that fight, Ryan Garcia looked like mentally he was fucked. What a degenerate. The whole buildup, right? You could not like Ryan Garcia in the buildup for that fight. The majority of people were looking forward to Devin Haney knocking his ass out. And throughout the majority of the fight, his gas tank looked shit. He was getting outboxed consistently. The only problem was every time he threw a fucking left hand, it fucking hit Devin Haney and hurt Devin Haney every single time. And this was supposed to be a real fucking together Devin Haney against a fucked up drug user, mentally fucking incapacitated Ryan Garcia, who was saying the craziest shit ever. Like, at a point, I didn't even want to listen to that guy talk anymore because it was sickening. But at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia keep doing what he's doing. Devin Haney's the one that made himself look bad, right? That's just the way it is. We will see what happens in the rematch. We'll also see in their next fights. Obviously, Ryan got Rolly Romero. That's going to be an intriguing fight because they're both fucking idiots, right? People would love to see either one of those two jackasses get knocked out. Haney is jumping with Ramirez, who has a good left hand. If Devin Haney gets beat by Ramirez, that guy's career is fucking done. Done. Tio is now done with Eddie Reynoso. I'm hearing. I was surprised Canelo would want both of those two whack jobs around him. Ryan, the other crazy. Yes, I know. Who you got in the rematch? I'm rocking with Ryan. I met him. I just think Ryan is going to be in better shape, especially the fight being at 147. And his left hand is still going to fucking hit Devin Haney. Right? So I got to favor Ryan Garcia to win. Because if Devin Haney can't take away Ryan Garcia's left, he inevitably is going to get hit by it. And if he gets hit by it, I think fucking he's going to lose. And if Ryan Garcia can be motivated and mentally fucking focused, he will be much better than he was the first time. Devin Haney, can he be better than he was? Because there was nothing wrong with him going into that fight. Sean, how do you see Haney looking in his comeback fight? You think he will be hesitant? Well, that's what we don't know about, right? The question is, he fucking been off for a year. He didn't allow himself to come back and get some work, right? Now he's going to be fighting at 147 pounds, right? After two fights at 140, now he's going to be at 147. He's fighting Ramirez, who's bigger than him. Ramirez is taller, longer, and physically a bigger fighter than him. So Ramirez is going to be strong at 147. But Ramirez is slow. Ramirez obviously just got beat by a boxer in what's his face, Barboza. But Barboza and Haney don't really fight the same. Haney, I think, gets hit more than Barboza does. Uh, so it'll be intriguing. He definitely has a lot to prove in that fight, for sure. Devin has nightmares about left hooks. He does, man. He definitely got hooked. He wakes up going, oh, right? Because he got hit by fucking every single left hand Ryan Garcia threw. I mean, mind you, if he beats Ramirez and gets the fight with Ryan Garcia, he's going to make huge cash. So even if he never fights again, it won't really matter. But for guys like John Boxing and others that talked about Devin Haney being the next Floyd Mayweather, that fucking didn't age well. It's kind of like when they said Adrian Broner was the next Floyd Mayweather. That didn't age well. Right. You know, the reality is he's his own Devin Haney. And his own Devin Haney was never fucking Floyd Mayweather. I'm curious why he's fighting at 147, but I feel like Haney can't cut the weight anymore, especially being inactive for a year. Well, that definitely didn't help it, right? But I think the problem is because Ryan Garcia says, I'm not going to fight at 140. I can't make the weight. So if you want the rematch, it got to be at 147. My crazy neighbors. Nice kid, but why are you singing in front of my house? Dev looked drained at the weight in while Ryan was energetic. Drained? Come on, man. How do you go from being the best of your career against Regis Prograis to looking drained against Ryan Garcia? Dancing, throwing flurries and delight. I like the rehydration from the weight cut had effects because Davin's reflexes to catch the hook. Come on, man. Even you don't fucking believe that. Literally, Devin Haney was coming off of a career best performance to Regis Prograis, fighting a guy who looked mentally fucking checked out. They were so confident going into that fight that they felt they were going to fucking knock out Ryan Garcia. That's how confident they were. So if there's a problem, it's that they were fucking overconfident, downright cocky, and fucking, unfortunately, didn't fucking really prepare to take away Ryan Garcia's left hand, which everybody knows is the one punch you need to take away. Just ask Tank Davis. What did Tank Davis do? Tank Davis took away Ryan Garcia's fucking left hand. And then Ryan Garcia no longer had anything to do but get knocked out. The snackety snack. Yeah, he's on snack. He's fucking roided up just as much as Ryan is. It's crazy how much he was rehydrated when even Sulemakin. Huh? In truth, I think Devin approached the Ryan Garcia fight all wrong, trying to compete with Tank Davis. Well, of course, he know Tank Davis. He need to go out there and outbox Ryan Garcia, and if he could wear him down and stop him late, that's what he should have done. Definitely overconfident. Definitely. Dev also come into the Prograis fight around 168. Yeah, we know fucking Devin, ballooned up between weights. It's ironic because people talk about, Ryan Garcia being like a weight bully and this and that, but Devin Haney probably weighed fucking exactly the same as Ryan Garcia on fight night. Both those boys put on a ton of weight, right? A ton of weight. Okay? Why are you looking at me so serious? Hmm? Calm down, Lily. It's okay. Cheers. What? She's like staring a fucking hole into my head. Okay, soon. Yes, she's a sweetheart. But now she's telling me, let's go outside. I've been home all day. Get off your fat ass. I need to pee. But, okay. It wouldn't be so bad, except I can't stop but fucking see her in the screen staring at me. So I guess maybe this is the time to go for a walk. Should we go for a walk? Okay. So thanks everyone for jumping in. I will see you this weekend. Obviously, there's a fight card on DAZN, so I'm going to be going live for that fight card, and I will see you guys then. Oh my God, what's wrong with you? Take it easy. Peace out, everyone. See you next time. Oh yes, you're a good girl. Yes, you're good.